Hello, welcome to this week's weekly review video that I'm going to do for you. In this video, I'm going to share with you weekly trading review. This week was a losing week, all right? This week is a red week. I'm going to share with you what I'm ashamed of and what I'm proud of this week, and the lesson of the week is called Cut the Bleeding. So, I'm going to do a short overview of the trades I've taken and on the results I've taken. And this week I've taken 9 trades, which is a lot for me. But these trades are counted in different way because I might add to the position, and that's how I counted that it's 9 trades. Maybe I see one setup and I take 3 positions on that setup um, because it's a 0.5% position. So I've taken 2 wins. No, yeah, that's correct. I've taken 2 wins and I've taken six losses this week. So this week was not a good week, and the first trade I took was not even that big of a win because I didn't like the stop loss area of it. So I took one trade, a 1-to-1, 0.25% risk. I won 0.25%. It wasn't that big of a deal. So the second trade I won. This one was one that ate through the losses. So I traded on Monday. I basically I've taken a trade every day this entire week. Um, and that it's been a lot of chaos. I've been in the hospital. I had a family member been in the hospital. My sleep wasn't good, so that's why I wrote also to the group regarding sleep, how important sleep is for your decision making. But the net result of this entire week was, let's round it up to -1%. Now, I was a bit upset on yesterday because I took a loss and I've been losing for 3 days straight. Now, why was I upset? Because even if I'm down 1% at the month, I'm still profitable. I'm still plus because I have enough buffer to protect me from going break even and going minus on the month, right? Ending the month with red. And even though the month can end up with red, we have to then think in a quarter or in a year. So I don't want to get too much into this, but just a short explanation of how it works because this it bugged me. It bothered me because I was losing 3 days in a row. And I started to reflect what's going on, what's happening. Because winning or losing, like nobody likes losing, especially when it's affecting your money, right? So I've taken 9 trades this week, and the thing is, when we take these kind of trades, 9 trades, we don't know how much we can lose, and uh, we, we know how much we can lose, but we don't know how much we can gain because we don't know where the market is going. Right? We mark out where the liquidity and maybe the 50% mark of the fair value gap, and we take our profits there. But we don't know exactly how much it's going to be because we know how much we're risking. That's correct. If I'm risking 1% or 0.5%, we know exactly how much we're willing to lose, but we don't know how much we're going to gain. So it's a balance between the two. And that is what happened to me. I took I took a loss. I took a small win here, but it didn't count for much because it was 0.5%. Then I took another loss, and then I took another loss, and then it just can't like it continued to take losses, 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 losses. This is what happened this week, and I needed to reflect and back test and test the risk management. What's going on? What's happening? How is my routines? And just I'm not blaming on Ramadan. It's Ramadan. We are fasting. Our brains are not that sharp, especially the last week of Ramadan. You feel so depleted. Um, so that's my reflection point. And I said to myself, like, take a break. I'll come back fresh and alert and strong. So I took a trade right here, and this trade right here ate up basically like all of these trades and gave me just this -1, and which gave me a red week. -1 at the end of the week. But in the month, that's the thing. In the month, like I'm still green. I'm still profitable because this -1 doesn't equal that much. This is all green. All right, let me go through the trades. Let me share with you the trades I've taken this week. So the first trade I took this week was this school run. So I didn't enter with much of a risk because I didn't like the stop loss of it. The stop loss was about 30 to 40 pips, and it wouldn't give me a huge win, but it gave me a 1-to-1. So I put my take profit right here, and it continued to take profit. This is on a 15 minute, by the way. Do you see how I do it? I identify the trend that is bearish. The trend is bearish. I wait for the 15-minute candle to close underneath the Asia session overnight range. When it closes, I take the trade and I wait for it to go to sweep these liquidities right here. That was my first trade. Okay, my second trade during the same day, the same session, Nasdaq was bullish. So DAX and Nasdaq contradicted each other. So we didn't know where we were heading, basically. But I saw two trades, and I liked this setup even more because the bias was more. I was more confident in my bias here. So I saw it take out liquidity, 15-minute liquidity, break of structure. It gave me a reaction. This was a perfect setup. I this was a good loss. If you want to lose, these kind of losses are good to take. Why? Because everything is aligned. Everything is aligned. The break of structure, the fair value gap, the reaction with the fair value gap, the liquidity sweep, and the stop loss is not that big. Everything is aligned, and even the take profit is so clear. This I was happy with this loss. So I took this loss 0.5% and then I left for the day. I didn't want to enter the market even more. And just let me add something to that because I I wrote these are the areas where people blow their account because you lose on the DAX and then you come to Nasdaq, you take a trade here, and this is what happens. You take a trade, boop, and it gives you another setup right here, a break of structure, a liquidity sweep, a sweep of the second liquidity right here, and it gives you a fair value gap. But it didn't give you this was an invalid fair value gap. So what do people usually do? They put a pending order right here and they wait for it to be taken out or to be entered the position. So this is then you lose money again. And what does the market do again? It creates another fair value gap and another break of structure, and it gives you a reaction to the upside on this candle right here. Let's say this is a 50% mark of the fair value gap. It gives you a reaction. You take the trade again right here. And what like you get stopped out once, you get stopped out twice, you get stopped out 3 times. And this is where people blow their accounts. And what do they do? And they see this setup right here. It didn't give you a breakup structure. And what do these candles indicate? That people are going long, right? And how can I miss these opportunities? Let me enter with them. And you enter with them. What does the market do? It goes down and pop, it takes you out because you probably put your stop loss right here. These areas, like if you have to close the computer, if you have to, I have this. I'm going to show you a blocker that blocks you from yourself. Cold Turkey Blocker Pro. You can just buy it. It costs like 30 bucks or so. You can have it for a lifetime, right? These moments are where people usually blow their accounts. I don't want this video to be way too long, so Tuesday's trade. I took another trade on Tuesday, and this is where I lost so much on Tuesday. So I took this trade, and this is where I wasn't patient enough. That's what I'm ashamed of this week. I wasn't patient enough and I didn't wait for it to give me a reaction. It swept liquidity, right? It broke structure right here, right? And what did I do? Sorry, it broke structure right. It broke structure right here. It broke another structure right here, and it gave me a fair value gap right here. And before it gave me a reaction, I entered, which is not a good thing. I need to see this candle to be bearish. I need to see this candle to be red, basically. So I got stopped out pretty quickly, and that's what happened. I gave it some room, and I saw another reaction happening here. It broke structure to the downside right here, and I usually take in the take the trade from the middle reaction. So this area I put a pending order. Put the pending order, and I put my stop loss right here, and it took me out. And you can see that I halved the risk because we can think that we're invincible in these areas, but even though we think we're invincible, adjust the risk accordingly, because this is where the place is where we lose most of our money. We lost once yesterday, and we lost again today with a large percent, like a 1%, and then we want to double it almost. But the moment you think you need to double it, half it in middle, because that is what happens. Unfortunately, that is how we cut the bleeding. I'm going to explain that even more further. And Wednesday, what happened on Wednesday? This is, I added 0.5, 0.5, and 0.5, total 1.5% in total I added to that position. And this is what happened. So, swept liquidity, the same setup. I'm not doing something different here. I'm using the same setup that I explained in the course, and I'm doing it over and over and over again. I'm just adjusting the risk based on the structure of the risk, based on a balance of the risk and the trade. I'm not doing anything different here. I'm taking the strategy that I'm showing you. You can just screenshot this and just keep doing this over and over again. So it swept liquidity right here. It gave us a reaction to the downside right here. And the thing is, this on the DAX went completely smooth, but I didn't see a liquidity sweep after the the market open, unfortunately. So on the DAX, it continued, and usually they follow each other. So it swept liquidity. I took the entry right here, and I risked 0.5%. I took it on the high 0.5% fair value gap, and I didn't take it on the this fair value gap right here. But when I saw it give me a reaction to this fair value gap right here, I added to the position right here because it gave me a better entry. So the thing I'm ashamed of right here, this stop loss should have been down here, and this stop loss should have been taken out. That is fine. That's a good loss to have. So that's what I'm ashamed of. I didn't put my stop loss. I put my stop loss correct here, but not here. And the third trade I took was this trade. I just took it today. So I took this trade without sitting next to the community. I just sat by myself and analyzed and checked and entered flow state basically, and did what I usually do. And I took two take profits, and this just continues. Okay, if you see how the market is looking today, it just continued bearish. So I took two take profits, and this trade is what gave me back my profits and gave me instead of having a 3.5% minus on the week, it gave me a -1 on the week. So in conclusion, I'm proud of that. And how do we cut the bleeding? We cut the bleeding by halving the percent. We cut the bleeding because this is usually what happens, right? We have this equity curve right here. I've been saying this over and over again. This is what blows accounts. These areas are what blows accounts because people can't stomach having losses. These areas. And we don't want to overdo these areas. We just want to have these areas be like if we take 1%, think about it like that. So if you take 1%, we lose. That's the loss. We usually take another percent and 1% and 1%. It just keeps going down and we blow that account. But that is not what we want to do. We want to, after we're risking 1%, we want to go down to 0.5% of the risk. Okay, if we lose this trade, we keep risking 0.5% until we win, until we get over this equity balance, right? Until we get over this equity balance, and we don't want this balance to go even further down. So after we win this 0.5%, maybe we win one and our profit is not that good, we keep risking 0.5% until we reach a higher level, until we pass this area. And then maybe we take a loss and then we keep doing the same thing. And that is how we grow our equity curve slowly and surely. It's like playing a game, right? You don't want to be on level 20 and your armor is not that strong and your shield is not that strong and you go and attack the demon at level 50. He will beat you down. So take the small steps and trust the process. That's what I'm thinking about. All right, if you haven't done it already, follow me on YouTube, follow me on Instagram, and if you haven't done it already, really join the school community, and I hope to see you there. All right, have a great weekend and spend some time being outside. Enjoy the sun. Spend some time with the family. Take care.